Good evening, Facebook. I'm about to unleash my immediate thoughts ahead of Undisputed tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1, here live on Facebook tonight. I won't be too long tonight. I'll be fairly brief. It's getting late in the East. Heck, it's getting a little late here in the West. I'm coming to you live from Los Angeles, Century City, just about a mile from the Fox studios, where we will do Undisputed tomorrow. So it's going to be just a quick cameo from the daughter of my wife, Ernestine and I. Hazel Bayless is our daughter of about a year and a half. She's a Maltese. She's the fiercest, sweetest Maltese this side of Malta, and she gets her cameo tonight. Just briefly, she's been asleep during this game. I don't blame her that much. Thank you, Ernestine. Hi, Hazel. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Say hi to Facebook. Look, Hazel. Hi. Hi, Hazel. She's a little out of it. She's a little sleepy, says Ernestine. But that's okay, because I'm not. And here we go. I think this series is now... Let me put it this way. I just tweeted this. I think Cleveland now leads this series 2-2. It's as simple as that. I'm going to say it again. Cleveland is just better than Boston. LeBron James is a whole lot better than anybody else on the Boston Celtics, because obviously Kyrie Irving is not on the Boston Celtics right now. Gordon Hayward is not on the Boston Celtics right now. For that matter, Shane Larkin's not on. Daniel Tice is not on the Celtics right now. All of them in street clothes, hurt, gone. Wow, really? I mean, the truth is this should be a mismatch. The truth is I had to put up with 3 days ahead of Game 3 in Cleveland of hearing people say, you know what, the Celtics are just bad. No, they're not better. They are not better, not even close. Kyle Korver had just a sensational game tonight. One of the greatest three-point shooters in the history of this league. He knows how to play basketball, and he will defend with every ounce in his body. He's a smart, tough, hard-nosed, lay it on the floor, spill his blood all over the floor defender. And when LeBron James, as he did once again tonight, sets the tone on offense as well as on defense, when he plays both ends of the floor, as he did from the first quarter on tonight, as he did in Game 3, this is a pretty good defensive ball club. It just is. JR can play a little defense. George Hill, trust me, watched him for years in San Antonio. He's a 6'6", long-armed defender. Tristan Thompson can defend above and below the rim. Every once in a while, Kevin Love isn't a bad defender in the post. Not bad at all. The Cleveland Cavaliers had 8 blocks. They threw a block party on the Boston Celtics tonight. And guess who had none of those blocks? LeBron James. None of them. So, to me, the shame of this series, what should be shameful for LeBron James, is that they lost in Boston twice, and it wasn't even close. And I'm sorry, I look back at those games as the aberrations in this series. This thing is going to be over sooner than later. I already said it after Game 3 that I thought Cleveland would win 4 straight games, and I feel that more than ever tonight. I saw lots of contributions from lots of help. LeBron had help tonight. Obviously, he scored 44 points. His focus was on offense. He roamed on defense, but at least he tried on defense. Until Game 3 of this, just the other night, in this series, LeBron had played little to no defense the entire postseason, like he was saving himself for the stretch run. I don't get it. And then, weirdly enough, he kind of coasted a little bit tonight when he started just toying with the Celtics. He took 28 shots. About, of his last 10 shots, maybe 5 of them were just bad shots. He fell in love with that fall away. And after a while, he made some early, and then he started missing them late. And then in the second half, he just started turning the ball over because he doesn't take the Celtics that seriously. Seriously, I'm telling you, he doesn't take them very seriously. He had 7 turnovers in this game, which is way too many. I haven't looked at it broken down half by half, but he must have had maybe 5 in the second half. That's way too many. In fact, he almost turned the ball over and turned the Celtics back into a factor in this game. Just getting sloppy, careless, carefree, just trying to put on a show. Got a little hot doggy. The great Jim Brown, one of the greatest humans I've ever known. I know he's had his issues in the past, but again, I have the highest regard for that man as a leader and a force in professional football. He's sitting at courtside. He's sitting next to the announcer at courtside. You don't think that's powerful influence on LeBron and the Cavaliers? And so, to me, LeBron was sort of trying to put on a show for Jim Brown and just messing with the game, messing with the Celtics. And it dawned on me as I got a little bit bored there in the second quarter, and I tweeted about this. I started counting up the starts of 3 of the Celtics starters versus LeBron's total starts. This is regular season and playoffs. So I took Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier, those 3. It's a first year, second year, third year Boston Celtic. Their total starts, I added them up. LeBron James has 6 times as many starts as all 3 of those guys together in the NBA. 6 times as many as 3 of the Celtics starters? That's a mismatch of experience, savvy, know-how, manhood. He's just a man against children. That's what this series should be. And yet it wasn't in games 1 and 2, and it will be different in game 5. The Cavaliers will win game 5. And now, as I look ahead to tomorrow's Undisputed, I just want to send a quick message to all of you blind witnesses, as I call you, you dearly beloved LeBron apologists, idolaters, defenders, you LeBron fans, and I love you all. I seriously do from the bottom of my heart. I love to watch LeBron play. He's the most fascinating athlete I've ever, quote-unquote, covered or reported on or commented on. He's just the most fascinating ever. That includes the great Muhammad Ali or Jim Brown. Name them. This is the most fascinating. Every game is a show with 5 subplots. And there are lots of subplots tonight. All of a sudden, LeBron went total offense tonight and had not even close to triple-double numbers. Who would have thought? Who would have guessed that he would have, what do you have, like 5 rebounds and 3 assists? Well, that's not the LeBron we usually know. 28 shots? That's not the LeBron we know. But it got off. His team was so involved so quickly. They got off to such a quick, nice lead that he was clowning the Celtics. That's what it boiled down to tonight. I'm just going to score because he can score at will. They don't have anybody who can keep him from the rim. Seriously. Marcus Morris couldn't even keep him from shooting layups tonight. So help me out here, all you dearly beloved LeBron fans, because I'm sure you say I'm too hard on him. I'm sure you say I'm too critical, that I'm overly critical. No, I'm not. Just remember what I'm going to have to face again tomorrow. It's what I faced today on Undisputed. If you saw the top of our show, the opening of our show, it was 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time on Fox Sports 1. What was across from me? This thing was across from me. It was Halloween in May across from me. It was my partner, my debate partner, LaShannon Sharp, as I call him, like a LeBron nutcase fan. Like it's almost creepy to me what a fan of LeBron he is, which is fine because I know there are a lot of LaShannons out there in the audience, maybe watching right now. What did I have to look across? I don't know what's coming. I had no idea. This is complete extemporaneous improv TV. Nobody warns me. I look up. We're about to open the show, and he whips out and whips on. First of all, he had on a tank top jersey that was like 4 sizes too small. That's fine. Shannon's tried to recommit to his nutrition exercise program. He's trying to get back in shape. He's exploding out of his tank top. Good for him. Still question the body fat, but that's okay. Didn't really show on the tank top. Looked good. And then he pulls on this, I think it was a new one, but he did have a goat mask before, and this looked like a new, I don't know. I don't follow this, but he had on a bigger goat mask, it looked like. And he's got a blackened mouth, and he's smoking it in the goat mask. Okay, the message is, he's doing bah. I think that's what a sheep does. I don't know what a goat does, but whatever. His message is that LeBron James, his man, has passed Michael Jordan. All time past him, that LeBron is better than Michael. So bear with me here, because my bar is being raised on my show. This is what I have to debate. This is what I have to fight with. Remember, we are trying to effectively rip each other's throat out. Every topic. Nothing's contrived. There's nothing that's tricked up before the show. I know the topic, and I have some idea that he's a yes or a no on a topic, but a lot of these, I know what's about to happen because he loves LeBron, and at least I'm objective about LeBron. You can say I'm skeptical, but I'm at least objective. So I know where those kind of topics are probably going to go. But we are trying to flat out win the debate. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm a fighter by nature. I fought my way all the way up through grade school and high school. I'm a little nutty that way. I'm psycho-competitive, so we're trying to win every debate. Well, he's setting the bar across the table all the way up to all-time, because to me, Michael Jordan's the greatest performer in any sport ever, period, end of story. So look what I'm up against. Even tonight, I'm having to measure LeBron by Michael standards. And people say, give LeBron a break. I don't read my Twitter responses, but I see people. I saw somebody the other day, just out in I won't tell you where, but and a guy was trying to be really nice, and he said, look, you're too hard on LeBron. He said, look, I know he's not better than Michael, so give him a break and say he's a great LeBron. And I said, I don't get that break, because on my show, on live TV every day, I'm getting slapped in the face with somebody from across the table saying, oh, he's much better. He's the GOAT, as in greatest of all time. Well, how would you feel? I covered Michael Jordan in Chicago. I know Michael Jordan. It's not even close. That's blasphemy. It's not even close. Don't get me started. I didn't plan to do this tonight. I just want to keep this in perspective so you know what I'm going to face tomorrow morning. Because Shannon Sharp is trying to explain to me on a daily basis, trying to beat me over the head with the fact that LeBron's just way better than Michael Jordan. So I'm going to critique LeBron tomorrow morning by Michael standards. I know what Michael did. He carried the whole load. Remember, 6 times in the postseason, Michael Jordan led the whole NBA in usage rates, how much time you have the ball in your hands. He did, because he was by far the number one scoring option on his team. He won the NBA scoring title 10 times. LeBron's only won it 1 time. He led the whole playoffs in usage rate 6 times. LeBron in his whole career has led it 1 time. But Shannon keeps telling me, well, LeBron, he carries the whole load. He has no help. And I'm like, wait a second. The greatest game Michael ever played, we could have a long argument about that, but the most memorable game was the last game in Chicago, Game 6. I was sitting right there at courtside, and Michael Jeffrey Jordan scored 45 of the 87 Chicago Bulls points, including the last one, in which he held the pose, and it was a 1-point game, so you make or miss, you win or lose. And he held the post from the free throw line. I know he pushed off Brian Russell just a little bit, but that's the way the game was played in those days. They did not call that in 1998. So this is the closeout game at Utah. And by the way, while he's scoring 45 points, he's leading all players on either team with 4 steals, including the key one at the end of the game, in which he snakes behind the great top 50 player, Karl Malone, and steals the ball from him and dribbles the ball all the way up the court by himself, with Scottie Pippen standing over on the side saying, I'm open. And Michael says, no, I got this. And he pulls up at the free throw line and he holds the pose. It's still have a picture of that. Most unbelievable play I've ever seen. It was a play, steal, shot, hold, pose. Game over, 87-86 Chicago. 45 points out of 87. He was the whole show, and it was kind of like what LeBron did tonight with 44, but they had, 111. So it wasn't the high percentage that Mike was scoring of 87 points. But my point is, this is what's driving me crazy, and I saw a little bit of it happen again tonight. LeBron James runs out of gas. And I don't get it, because he's supposed to be Iron Man. He's supposed to be in the greatest shape in the history of shape. That's what I'm told from across the table by a guy who used to be in really good shape when he played professional football for the Baltimore Ravens and the Denver Broncos. Okay? And yet, he also tells me, LeBron, he's got carrying such a load, he's got to rest on defense occasionally. And sometimes he has to rest on offense. He does? He has to rest on offense and defense? And I saw it some tonight in the second half. He was starting to run out of gas. Well, he only played the most minutes in the NBA during the regular season in his 15th year. Really? And now he's played the most minutes of anybody in the playoffs in his 15th year. And yet he's running out of gas? It's impossible. It does. Again, I was rooting for the Cavaliers because I picked them to win this series. Excuse me, I'm spitting on my screen. There. Whoops. There, I got it. I'm rooting for the Cavaliers because I picked them to win this in 5, and obviously that ain't going to happen. But it would look a little better if they won 4 straight, and I do believe they are about to win 4 straight against an undermanned mismatch of a Boston team. It's just not. It's not a fair fight. I'm sorry, it's not a fair fight. I mean, Aaron Baines, really? Loved him when he was in San Antonio, but that's it? Al Horford? I don't know. I'm just not seeing it. And I'm ready. Let's get on to Cleveland Golden State number 4. Let's go to Cavs Warriors 4. That's what we're about to see. And I can't wait. And then I will not be rooting for LeBron James because he ain't going to win it. I don't care how great he is. He better be much better than Michael Jordan, or his Cavs will get swept. Certainly they will get gentlemen swept as they did last year, which is 5 games. Maybe I'll give them 1 game. I don't know. But tonight I'm seeing him mess with the game, jack around with the game, turn the ball over, running a little bit low on fuel. And I'm like, how can you do that? You can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. There aren't that many more games left. You should be able to win Game 5 at Boston. You should have won 1 or 2 at Boston. You'll win 5, and then you'll win 6 at home, and then you'll get a little bit of rest before the NBA Finals start against a Warriors team. Now, they might be without Iguodala. And by the way, Shannon and I have a bet that he made. It was his bet. I did not start it. I start very few of these bets. I'm now up 10 cases of Diet Mountain Dew on Shannon Sharp. I've won 10, I guess it would be 10 straight bets from him. But he made this one. He gave me Golden State straight up, this was last week, in Game 4. He said the Rockets will win one of the games at Golden State. I said, no, they won't. And he said, okay, I'll take Game 4. I said, done. Case of Dew. Boom. Thank you. Do me. So now I don't have Iguodala tomorrow night, and it could matter a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they'll upgrade him. They said his MRI on his bruised, he banged knees, I think with James Harden. And they said the MRI came back clean. So maybe they'll upgrade him to questionable, but may not play him. So that could be a blow for me and a point for Shannon. But we will see. But I still say we're headed for Cavs Warriors. I am headed for tomorrow morning at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern, to take on Shannon Sharp, or Le Shannon Sharp. And again, I am going to be objective and fair about what I just saw from LeBron James. He took 12 shots in Game 3, took 28 shots tonight, and about 10 of them were just like crazy shots. Like, what are you doing kind of shots? Really? You're going to take that shot? Made one fall away on Rozier, but that's on 6'1" Terry Rozier. That was in the first quarter. And he missed a couple badly, and he was 1 for 4 from 3. And we also have another case of Diet Mountain Dew that I say LeBron for the playoffs will be under 80% free throw shooting. Shannon took over 80 or over. And I'm not sure what he is, but he was exactly in percentage, but he was 9 for 13 tonight, so he missed 4, which will keep him in the mid. He's probably 75%, so I'm looking good to win. That'd be 12 cases of Diet Mountain Dew there. I'm sure we'll have a 13th case. I hope it's not my unlucky 13th case, something on the finals. We will see about that, but I just want you to know that I was highly impressed with 44 points, even though LeBron can just get to the rim on Boston anytime he needs to get to the rim. I was not impressed with the 7 turnovers, and so watch what Shannon does. Just join us at, again, 9:30 Eastern time on Fox Sports 1. He'll put his goat mask on, I will bet you, and yet he's smoking a Black and Mild through his goat mask. And so I asked him today, are you suggesting that LeBron smokes? Is that what we're saying? Is that why he runs out of gas? Does he get winded during games because he smokes too much? I don't know what the message is. I don't think that's the case, but you'd be smoking Black and Milds through your goat mask? I don't know. Michael Jordan smoked cigars, and I never loved that. Didn't love it at all. He smoked them all through the sort of the back half of his career. He'd smoke them on the way to the United Center. Ahmad Rashad would pick him up just about every game day and drive him in to the, toward downtown Chicago. So I don't know. Maybe that's what he's saying. Maybe it's a smoking problem. I have no idea. Watch what he does. I'll bet you he'll put the goat mask back on, and we will be off to the races, because then that gives me the license to judge your man, LeBron James, by Michael Jordan standards. Is that fair? No, I don't think so. But that's the playing field I'm on. Those are the ground rules that get set by my opponent across the table, who's insisting that he's already better than a guy who went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. And don't get me started on 2011, when LeBron suffered the worst superstar meltdown we have ever seen by any superstar in any sport in games 4, 5, and 6 against the Dallas Mavericks in his first go-around with the Miami Heat after he took his talents to South Beach. And don't even get me started on 2014. Go look at those games. Go look at 3 and 4 back in Miami against my San Antonio Spurs. LeBron's team and LeBron got blown off the floor by a record finals margin by those San Antonio Spurs in 5 games. How could that happen? He had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, but then he fled back home, joined Kyrie. I don't know how it happened. Just don't get me started on all that, but Shannon always gets me started. So I'm ready. I'm going to be objective. I'm going to be fair. I'm just going to be me tomorrow. Check it out. I'm coming for you, Shannon Sharp. I think the Cavs are coming for the Warriors, and honestly, I'll leave you with this. I really feel sorry for LeBron James. I don't think he wants any part of Kevin Durant. I just don't think he does. Kevin Durant, reigning finals MVP. Shannon tried to make the case today that Steph is the more important. Baloney. Not even close. It's the reigning finals MVP. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for Undisputed tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will see you there on Fox Sports 1, 9:30 Eastern. See you then, Facebook. Good night.